Shibata has announced a New Japan Pro Wrestling return match. A top tag team has called on AEW to sign him up, and Adam Page is frustrated following his AEW title win. Stay tuned. So we are kicking things off with some massive Sam Driver spunking everywhere news right now, as Shibata has announced his return to the ring. This is utterly huge. This has just taken place literally in the last 20 minutes or so during the Best of the Super Juniors final / World Tag League final show. And Shibata taking to the ring, announcing that he will be stepping back in there January the 4th for Wrestle Kingdom. And it's just, are you okay, Sam? You doing all right?
This is, I don't know what to. I'm so conflicted because it's like, oh God, please be safe to return and all of that. But at the same time, it's Katsuyori Shibata back in a pro wrestling ring. Pro wrestling, not doing UWFI rules matches by the sounds of it.
That's it. That was the last time we saw him during the match with Zack, the 5-minute exhibition that went to like a time limit draw, essentially. This is going to be his first proper wrestling match for over 4 years.
And this is huge. This is a guy who was essentially, general consensus was that he would never wrestle again after facing Okada at Sakura Genesis in 2017. Obviously, Shibata uses a headbutt, or used to use a headbutt, quite a lot in his repertoire. And after that match, in a particularly gruesome series of headbutts, he collapsed backstage. He was diagnosed immediately with a subdural hematoma and rushed into emergency surgery. He suffered partial paralysis, and it was, as I said, likely he would never wrestle again. He's had a long and complex history with the company, starting out at a time where the company was sort of on its arse a bit, and he, Nakamura, and Tanahashi, the new Three Musketeers, were seen as the rising stars that were going to carry the company forward. He would kind of leave the company for a bit and go to the competitor, which was a bit of a no-no, came back and eventually found that respect with the audience again. And just as it felt like he was about to really step up to, the big title picture, everything happened, everything went wrong. And now to see him back in the exhibition match was big enough, but to see him back actually pro wrestling, provided it's all safe and he's able to do so, this is huge. This is massive, massive, massive news.
Absolutely. It looks like they're obviously going to be taking care of him, because he spoke in a recent interview about the possibility of him being cleared. So he's speaking, and I hope I pronounced this right, Kaminogi, discussing his future in the ring. And when asked about being cleared, he said, "That's the thing I want to work on carefully. I'd like to talk to the doctor and the company about how often I should wrestle. This is just my feeling, but I probably have only a handful of matches left in me if I'm able to wrestle. A couple of matches per year." So it doesn't look like this is going to be certainly a full-time return or anything like that. Big exhibition matches. So we'll keep you updated when we know a little bit more about what that match is going to entail. But as I say, January 4th, Sam, you're going to be doing live reactions that day.
Oh, it's going to be a mess.
Get some blue roll out. Yeah,
just a full box of Kleenex.
Lovely stuff. Also taking place on that show, Tanahashi accepting a no DQ match against Kenta. The official announcement is expected to come in the next 24 hours, according to Chris Charlton. Big match there as well. That's pretty damn cool, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Nice. It's shaping up to be a massive show, right? 3 days.
Somebody tweeted me and Jack going, here's an interview with the president of New Japan saying he wants at least 10 matches on each card. And I'm just like,
goodness me.
Yeah, it's
an early start as well, isn't it? Doesn't it start at like 7 or 8 here?
Yeah, it's like 7 a.m. and then maybe a 5+ hour show.
You love it. You love it. Next up, a top tag team have called out FTR. We knew that already, but also have now told Tony Khan to scoop them up. So the Briscoes we're talking about, them boys have had a heated exchange in kayfabe with FTR over on Twitter. They've been going back and forth for a little bit. I think it's probably still going on right now. I think they're not getting much sleep, those two teams. But Jay Briscoe saying, "Talk that S now, say no more. Talk that S, son of a bitch. How you like that? I don't even got to talk that S. I'm going to show it to you." And right, it continued, right? At this point, when and where? When are we going to do the match? When and where, boys? Send me a plane ticket. Text me a plane ticket. You got my number. Hell, it could even be a bus ticket. You know what? Tony Khan, fill that private jet up. You can park that bitch in the cornfield. Come scoop us up, man. We ready. So he's asking for the match, maybe a little bit more than the signing, but I think they'd quite like to be signed
the
as well.
Briscoes are an absolute no-brainer for anybody that can get them. I think AEW is a perfect fit for them in order to be able to continue wrestling the style they wrestle and put on the types of matches they put on. I think AEW, potentially Impact, but AEW first and foremost would be a great landing spot for the Briscoes. And FTR versus the Briscoes, sign me up.
Well up for that. It's one of those things, like, I don't want to just, especially with them, they're not going to go to WWE. I don't think WWE would necessarily want them, but you can imagine what they do. They wouldn't. They really, really wouldn't. And I feel like that's going to get us.
Jesse and Festus too.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. They would be either watered down or totally, totally ruined. Sticking with AEW now, a man who is not very happy, according to the man himself, Hangman Page, frustrated that he hasn't wrestled since winning the AEW World title. So obviously he was away for a long time anyway, and we hadn't seen him wrestle that much. But since winning that belt, he's not had a match yet. He won't have to wait too long anymore because he's wrestling tonight, obviously. It's Windsor is coming, December 15th. But he was speaking to Renee Paquette on the oral session, saying, it's great, it's a little surreal. I don't think it'll ever sink in at this point, talking about the win itself. And he also said, it's also a little frustrating because I've worked so hard for so long and won this championship, and I've not gotten to wrestle a match since I won it. It's been 3 or 4 weeks, and I've been asking for a match with Bryan Danielson since after the pay-per-view, and I haven't got to wrestle. It's kind of frustrating. So, I mean, it's sort of in kayfabe. I don't think he's that.
Yeah, it just feels like, I don't know, we've had like a nice break point here. He's won the belt. There's been a little bit of time, and now it's time to roll forward with it. So
yeah,
I quite like that. Yeah, rather than just straight into it. We're so used to WWE just with title shot.
It doesn't need to be like, he's obviously, he could have done like a little tag match or something. That wouldn't have taken anything away from it. But I think this match feels bigger as a result of the fact that he hasn't had a match since. Like this, it almost feels sort of pay-per-view caliber tonight's show. So very much looking forward to it. I mean, it hasn't happened yet, but you got to believe it's going to be a contender for match of the year. It could be really something else.
On paper alone, it looks insane. In reality, it's hopefully going to blow our minds even harder. So, yeah, very much looking forward to it. Yeah,
I'm really, really buzzing for this one. And we are finishing off with a lovely little story. Tommaso Ciampa has announced an NXT War Games auction to help the Waukesha Christmas parade victims. Obviously, 6 people tragically lost their lives, dozen more being injured when that SUV plowed through the Christmas parade in Wisconsin in November. And Ciampa said that he basically considers Wisconsin his home, given where it is and where he's raising his daughter Willow. He bought a house in the States, and so they're auctioning various bits from NXT War Games, various ring-used bits and backstage stuff out. So we will leave a link in the comments or the description if you want to support a very worthy cause. If you want to get involved with that, spend a few quid, then the link will be below. Thank you very, very much. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Adam. Thank you for presenting this news with me. Thank you for
presenting this news, Sam. We will be back. In fact, we won't. We've got another news video coming today, and then we'll see you when we see you. Outro. See you in a bit.